And the fight is not for the officiating to be tighter or to be looser. The officiating is for it to be the same. What's at one end has to be the same at the other end. That's the problem. And it absolutely, positively was not the case last night for the Knicks against the Pacers. And you're going to sit there going, oh, you're just a hater. Because that's what we do when we don't have a reasonable response to a very, very obvious disparity in officiating. Is you're a hater, you're West Coast, you don't like the Knicks, you don't like... Bullcrap. Jalen Brunson might be my favorite player I've ever watched play in the NBA. Can I repeat that? Jalen Brunson might be my favorite player I've ever watched in the NBA. But he, just part of all of the Villanova guys, you guys are ridiculous with the flopping. It's like, hey, Villanova, we're going to have great culture. We're going to play hard. We're going to practice hard. We're going to play off 2 feet in the lane. We're going to be creative. We're going to be great teammates. And we're going to do fainting goat defense. You guys like that? You can use that, by the way. Fainting goat defense. You ever seen a fainting goat? Funniest thing ever. They just like sit there and they pass out when they get scared. It's awesome. I kind of want to get a goat that's a fainting goat and just scared on a daily basis just to start my day. This was Rick Carlisle after the game.
I'm always talking to our guys about not making it about the officials, but, you know, we deserve a fair shot, you know, and it's just not, there's not a consistent balance, and that's disappointing. You know, small market teams deserve an equal shot. They deserve a fair shot, no matter where they're playing.
I honestly don't think it's about the small market team in New York. You know, I think my guess is it's about the energy of the home building and officials get caught up in it. But the Pacers sent 78 missed calls over 2 games to the league. 78. I mean, some of it, there was Josh Hart with a 2-hand shove where it looked like he was trying to foul in transition. Trying to. And didn't get called for it. And look, a lot of this comes down to not just the NBA has always had coaches who go to the dais after the game and complain about the officiating. Then the next game, it's better. But by the way, Carlisle didn't really complain after game 1 when they lost the game on a joke of a call. A joke of a call. And it was, by the way, the same type of call we saw in women's college basketball with the UConn game against Iowa, right? But you combine the fact that there was an obvious flop by Dante DiVincenzo. Again, Villanova guy. Great teammates, play hard, play off 2 feet, make shots, win championships, and fainting goat defense. Oh! Because that's actually the worst part about it is everything about the culture of Villanova is about toughness, and yet that's not necessarily toughness. That's flopping. That's not really respected. And I get it. You got to sell calls sometimes, but the level to which they do it is stupid. And some of it, it's like quite obvious. Game 3 will be stupid. It'll be a march to the free throw line. It's going to be crazy, tightly officiated. But I don't think it has to. I don't think it has to do with location because look, Minnesota was able to climb into Denver and play really, really physically and expose the fact that Jamal Murray is not a point guard and they don't have another ball handler that can handle the basketball against pressure. So you just pressure him, harass him every time he gets it, and it's cut off the head of the snake defense. That's basketball 101. Great game plan by Chris Finch and his crew. But all of this comes back to the Tim Donaghy deal, doesn't it? I mean, look, the likelihood is there is no conspiracy to keep small market teams out of the NBA playoffs or out of the NBA finals. Is it better for the Knicks and the Celtics in terms of ratings? Hell yeah. Yes. Yes. 10 times over. Because the West is going to be a disaster ratings-wise. Oklahoma City versus Minnesota is great basketball. You have two burgeoning superstars in Shea and in the Ant-Man. Burgeoning superstars. But they play in Oklahoma City and Minneapolis. Yikes. Yikes. So how do you combat that? Boston and New York will be unbelievable. But the only reason the main reason you think it's plausible is Tim Donaghy and what he did and what he said opens the door to because look, if there was some grand conspiracy to keep small market teams out of the Eastern Conference Finals, you damn well know about it. There are no more secrets, only facts yet to be revealed. And the NBA does a lot of dumb things, like only suspending Pat Beverly 4 games for chucking a ball into the stands not once but twice. That's a dumb thing. But dumb things and stupid things, it'd be stupid to have some conspiracy. The Knicks have benefited from being the aggressor. They've benefited from the home crowd. They've got the Pacers out of their game. And, oh, yeah, by the way, Rick Carlisle, the guy who you have who's the best at playing through that physicality and grinding out is your backup point guard, TJ McConnell, who you took out of the game, and that's when you lost the game. So Carlisle, he has a point about, hey, we just want fair officiating. I agree. But why don't you leave the guy in who's helping you win? Buyer, you're a neutral NBA fan. Your team is not in it anymore. What are your thoughts on, let's just take with that series, the officiating?
I think officials get caught up in any home arena with a crowd. And maybe Madison Square Garden would be the biggest place to do so. Mm-hmm. So you ride that momentum, you make borderline calls to get that sort of reaction. That is what I think happens. I think you'll see the same thing in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And the point about the 78 missed calls is I'm telling you what's coming as they march to the free throw line.
Yeah, he's laying groundwork for games 3 and 4.
It's interesting in the Oklahoma City Dallas one. Everybody made a big deal, myself included, over the 22 free throws in the first half. And what that did was Lively and Gafford both in foul trouble. And if Oklahoma City can get to the rim, especially Shea can get to the rim, different ball game. But what's not discussed is Dallas cut it to 1 in the second half, and Lou Dort made a couple great plays, and then Shea hits 2 threes, and that was that. But that officiating was embarrassing. It was bad. And I agree with you. You get caught up in it. And it's, oh yeah, by the way, why you want the big name officials. That's why you want Scott Foster on a game. We've created this thing. You need a guy it's a P word that ends with a K. I don't think it's appropriate to say on radio, right? You need an official like that because that official ain't scared to call the foul on the home team. But if you just call the obvious ones, I think you're in a better place from the officials. But Jalen Brunson creates contact. That's what he does. That's how he plays. If you ever asked yourself, like, how does he get off all these shots? Because Jalen Brunson is probably the, 20th quickest, fastest guard in the NBA, and he's not particularly big. He's maybe a little bit bigger than me, but he understands angles and he understands how to create space with physicality. He creates contact. It's amazing. And the second you touch him, he jerks his head back, and sometimes even when he's not hit, it's hard to officiate. But they have not done a good job. At all. At